Edward Zigarlitsky. I hope I got that right, Edward. Of Garson, Manitoba. You can win groceries for a year if a kickoff's returned for a touchdown in this game, thanks to Safeway Sobeys $1 million touchdown win promotion. And if it happens a second time, you could also be in store for $1 million. Good luck, Edward. Off to Montreal, game one of the doubleheader. Chris Cuthbert and Glenn Suter, guys.
Thank you, Rod. Bombers and Alouettes look for their first win of the new season. The home opener for Montreal on a spectacular summer Friday night. Al's trying to snap a 12-game losing streak.
The Alouettes have added some building blocks this offseason, but to take the next step and end that losing streak, they'll need Drew Willie to cut it loose tonight. Willie's just got to let it go. It's Willie's second start of the year, first against his old team. Now, based on the circumstances, it was a pretty good start for Chris Streveler. He threw 3 touchdown passes in week 1, but fell just short to the Edmonton Eskimos. With Matt Nichols out for 3 to 4 more weeks, 23-year-old gets start number 2 in the CFL.
Yes, Mike O'Shea's Bombers lost 33-30 in that weather extended league opener last week. Bombers 6-3 on the road last year, and they beat the Alouettes in a couple of closely contested games. There's Mike Sherman, the 6th different Montreal head coach in 6 years, 57 NFL wins, looking for his first in the Canadian Football League in his McGill Stadium debut. Alouettes lost 22-10 last Saturday in BC. You see Mo Leggett back in action for Winnipeg. Did not play in the season opener. Kevin Fogg, who had a big missed field goal return for a touchdown, back as well. Boris Beatty to kick things off. And we're underway from Montreal. And it is Mo Leggett finding his way across the 25-yard line. Dragged down there, and now with a flag down, young Chris Streveler leads the Winnipeg Blue Bombers out.
3 years in Minnesota, finished his college career with 2 years in South Dakota. In game 1, completed 54% of his passes, 178 yards, threw the 3 touchdowns, and also had a couple of picks. In the marathon delayed game.
That was the shortest game of the week last week, Suits.
That's true. Official playing time.
Playing time, 2 hours, 42 minutes. Delay, a couple of delays adding up to 2 hours and 58 minutes before all was said and done. So, for many reasons, the kid will remember his CFL debut. By the way, the last quarterback to throw 3 touchdown passes in his Canadian Football League debut, Rakeem Cato of the Montreal Alouettes, a couple of years back against Calgary. I'd like to also welcome viewers watching on ESPN2 tonight. Bombers go to work starting at their own 10 with Andrew Harris straight ahead for 5 yards. And Harris was 77 on the ground last week.
Yeah, 14 carries out of the backfield for Harris. You heard Matt Dunnigan say it in the pregame. He's got to get the ball a little bit more, take some pressure off Chris Streveler. And one of the things he can do is get the ball to Darius Bowman, their offseason acquisition. 3 targets last week. Did not have a catch. The outstanding lineman in the CFL last year was Stanley Bryant. He'll go up against Jamal Westerman here in this one tonight. We'll watch that matchup.
Bombers 9 of 22 on second down conversions. They get one here, and they get it in the hands of Darius Bowman for the first time back with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Off year for Darius Bowman as an Edmonton Eskimo in 2017 with just over 500 yards, and off to a slow start for the Bombers, returning to the Bombers with no catches last week. But he gets on the board early. Streveler finds him, gets him going.
Second tour of duty with Winnipeg. Streveler on a roll, and he has a completion to Darvin Adams.
Well, I love this matchup tonight in the trenches. We're going to see Stanley Bryant at left tackle against Jamal Westerman. Westerman had a sack in week 1 out in BC for the Montreal Alouettes. You go back into the middle of that defense. It's Enoch Mwamba returning to Montreal where he grew up. And in the secondary, Mitchell White, Tommy Campbell, 2 outstanding all-star corners outside.
No John Bowman. Chip Cox may see action. Here's Streveler calling his own number and running across the 40-yard line. Looks like he'll be a yard or 2 short of a first down.
Boy, this guy's easy to like, isn't he? I mean, we got a chance to sit down with Chris Streveler yesterday. and talked to him about his college days and just his mentality, how he approaches the game. And when he told me when he was a backup at Minnesota early in his college days, he said, I went to the coach, I said, look, I'm going to still work to get that starting job, but in the meantime, you mind if I play specials and cover kicks? I thought, I love a quarterback thinks that way.
2nd and 2, nice cut back by Andrew Harris for a first down at the 45. Played some tight end and fullback. He's done it all. He's one of those guys you just get the impression it's put me in, coach.
Yeah, I mean, Strebler's a gym rat. Guy loves to get in that weight room.
They go tempo, first down, got some steamboats here to work with, and dumps it off to Harris. Andrew Harris with a cutback and up over the 50-yard line. Harris with just 3 catches last week for 6 yards. Of course, the double threat.
Well, I asked Strebler, you know, what's the difference between that first game, the first time you stepped on a CFL field? He said, well, first of all, it's going to slow down. It had a real good week of practice. He said, I'm starting to earn the trust of the team. I can feel it. It's coming together quickly. Feels a lot better going into game 2.
The 2nd and 4, and Westerman, the former Bomber, jumps the gun.
He had an inside stunt going and wanted to get there in a hurry, but if it's against him and he wasn't drawn, that's a first down.
5-yard penalty, first down, Winnipeg.
3 tackles and a sack last week. Westerman, who had 32 sacks in his time with the Blue Bombers, including 17 in the 2015 campaign.
Just the 17.
Now playing with little brother on that defensive line.
When it gets to numbers like that, yeah, you got to double check them. But it was 17.
So the Bombers have moved into Alouette territory at the Montreal 54. Play action. Strebler going to put it up into double coverage, and it's dropped. Ball is dropped in and out of the hands of the safety, Jermaine Robinson.
Jermaine Robinson baited Chris Strebler into throwing that. You're not gonna, he's right in the middle of your screen, and then he opens his hips up to the backside, and Strebler thinks he's going that way. He opens his hips up to his left. He thinks he's gone and out of the picture, and then comes back on a turn inside pivot to get to Adams, and should have intercepted it.
Ninth play of the drive, 2nd and 10. Strebler over the middle, incomplete. And a flag does come down as the intended target was Dembski and got bumped by Brandon Dozier before the ball arrived.
Not much argument from Brandon Dozier on that one.
Montreal, number 1.
Not much doubt there, and even the body language of Brandon Dozier told you that. That's one of the ones you go back to that hole and you tell your teammate, yeah, my bad.
Well, Mike Sherman said his bad last week, 14 penalties, 125 yards. He said, we'll take care of it, but a couple of infractions on this opening drive. And
started in Minnesota, but then transferred to University of South Dakota, where he threw for over 6,000 yards, 54 touchdowns, and could run the ball as well. In that preseason game, the first game for the Bombers this year, he went 10 for 10 out of the gate. And a good start against the Edmonton Eskimos. Pushed the Esks and Mike Riley to the limit. Riley had to have that last inside of a minute drive to win that game.
2nd and 9. Looks like he'll pull it down himself. Use that 4.45 speed, and a first down run brought down by Dominique Ellis. 7 for 30 on the ground for the young quarterback last week.
This one looks designed. You got pulling Andrew Harris leading the way for him. Designed quarterback run. But he loves the physicality. You know who it reminds me of? 2 guys.
Yep.
Buck Pierce and the guy sitting in the studio right now, Matt Dunnigan.
Couple of former Bomber starters. Here's this little end around. They flip to Dembski, and Nick Dembski is forced out around the 19-yard line. taken out by Tommy Campbell and Enoch Mwamba.
He's got a long way to go to be compared to Matt, but you know, I think with Strebler, it's just that mentality. He's got that sort of linebacker mentality, wants to continue to improve.
We dropped the 713-yard stat of Matt Dunnigan as a Winnipeg Blue Bomber in one game, and I'm not sure Chris Strebler's over that yet.
No, he did a double take on that one.
2nd and 2, another quarterback option, and the kid running like Dunnigan or Pierce for another first down of the 10. This drive started at the Winnipeg 10-yard line.
Well, it's part of his makeup. I mean, and Paul LaPolice, why not call these type of plays if he's comfortable with it? Helps him settle down, takes away any nerves. He goes and gets a couple of tackles, takes some hits, but he's moving the chains.
Late hit at the end of the play. And they'll march it closer to the Alouette goal line.
Alouettes won the toss and deferred to the second half. Winnipeg took the ball. And whenever you do that, you want to score on the first drive and get the home team chasing you.
Been a couple of post-tackle fracasses here. 14th play of the drive. Back into the hands of Harris. And stacked up and drilled back by Vantrell McMillan.
Michael O'Shea loves this kid. Chris Strebler has a huge upside. Paul LaPolice so far calling plays in 2 categories here. Getting Andrew Harris involved and having Strebler run the ball.
2nd and goal from the 3. Wolotarski to the near side. They hand it off to
nice play. Jamal
Harris. Runs into an old teammate, and Jamal Westerman puts an end to the drive.
The way you contain Andrew Harris, I don't know if you can stop him, but the way you contain him in the run game is to get him to stomp his feet and get his pads going sideline to sideline rather than downhill. If he gets going, he's tough to beat. He's such a physical runner, but Jamal Westerman gets up the field. See how he turns his pad toward the sideline? Now he's got him.
That Alouette defense gives up a lot of yards on the opening Winnipeg possession, but they do put a stop to it, and Justin Medlock comes on. Weston Dressler will be the holder after Alex Ross went down in the opener. And the left footer drills it through from 13 yards out. And the Bombers strike first. Tyrell Sutton, 2015 rushing champion. One of the vets in the Alouette attack that goes to work when we return. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
Good city.
Yeah, not bad on a Friday night. Terrific weather, 15-play, 95-yard field goal drive for the Blue Bombers, and now the former Bomber making his first start ever against Winnipeg, Drew Willie. Looking for his first win as a starter in Montreal. Pressure early, and the Bombers with a rude welcome back. Tristan Opalugo leading the charge.
Got after him right out of the gate. Just 4 receivers running routes, all covered. And Tristan Opalugo gets there, but it was a fast break to get there. You can see the line of scrimmage. The Bombers don't disguise anything. Swim move by Opalugo. Drew Willie had no chance.
Loss of 8. 2nd and 18. 5 men out, a little shovel pass inside, incomplete, intended for Sutton, and it's a quick 2 and out for the Montreal offense.
Those losses, 5 sacks last week. The BC Lions registered against Drew Willie, and penalties. That's what Mike Sherman mentioned to us yesterday. They've got to eliminate. Got a penalty in the first drive on defense and sack given up in the first drive on offense.
10 points on the opening 2 drives in BC, but a 2 and out here, and Boris Beatty to punt. Kevin Fogg awaits. at his 37. And here's Fogg with a good return up across the 50. 15 on the return, brought down by Anthony Saros. So Winnipeg looking for a stouter defense this week. Off to a good start, led by Tristan Opalaugo. Wasn't a win in his CFL debut, but he ended up in pretty good company for a 3-touchdown performance.
Yeah, he had the chance with the ball, went a 2-and-out late in that game, threw the 3 touchdown passes in the game, 2 interceptions, wants to eliminate those. But he said, boy, a lot of good. So did his head coach, Michael O'Shea, saying, saw a lot of good things from the young quarterback.
Already earned the confidence of his teammates and their trust. Good field position start here near midfield. Hands it off. Harris right side, and Andrew Harris driven back his forward progress around the Montreal 52.
Make your getaway with intelligent all-wheel drive in the 2018 Nissan Qashqai.
5 for Harris, 2nd and 5. Streveler 4 for 5, 32 yards on that opening drive, and also ran for 31, so one more than all of last week in the win against Edmonton. 2nd and we'll call it 4.5 over the middle, and that is complete. And there is Harris with his 2nd catch, brought down by the middle linebacker Mwamba.
Well, first of all, Andrew Harris, I should say, is out here to the right of the formation, and Streveler takes a peek at him to see how Montreal is going to cover that. Out goes Andrew Harris. Streveler just buys himself a little time with a shuffle inside and then gives it to his tailback. A little bang route outside, then bang back into the middle.
Harris led the CFL in receptions last year, 105. They faked the fly sweep, and the pass is caught by Drew Wolotarski.
First touchdown catch for him. Teammate, or roommate, as a matter of fact, at Chris Streveler's in college.
First completion by Streveler was to his old roommate, who happens to be his roommate on this trip as well.
You know what I like about him early in this game is his quick release. That means he's recognized it, he understands it. Michael Shea said he didn't have to look at his wristband very often in camp.
2nd and 6, they swing it to Harris, trying to get an edge against Chris Aki, and the straight arm gets him loose. And a first down as Andrew Harris takes it deeper into Alouette territory.
They got the corner, got the edge, and then this is a patent Andrew Harris move here to stiff arm the would-be tackler Chris Aki. Just there one, and then again on glass and around the corner. Good first down.
So 11 for Harris, an injured Blue Bomber getting attention. That is Wolotarski. And while they check on him, we'll step aside. Well, we mentioned no receptions on 3 targets last week for Darius Bowman. They got to him early, and
wow, the 3-time All-Star. They got to use him. They got to utilize his skill set. Almost 10,000 yards in his career. All-Canadian 3 times. If you go back to that 15-16 season, those 2 guys, him and Darrell Walker, were outstanding. But Bowman almost had, well, he had over 3,000 yards in those 2 years.
120 catches 2 years ago. Darvin Adams is going to throw it. He goes downfield. It's Harris in the end zone. Touchdown! Darvin Adams has a touchdown pass. And Andrew Harris on the receiving end.
Paul LaPolice reaching way down in his playbook here. The tip-off, there's Harris to the left of Streveler. The tip-off is that Streveler moves up towards the line of scrimmage so he can make that a lateral throw to Darvin Adams. Adams finishes it with a nice touch pass to Andrew Harris.
Did have some touch on that pass over Brandon Dozier. Used to catch those passes from Cam Newton, and yeah, didn't know he could throw them too. Medlock adds the convert. It's a 10-point Winnipeg lead here late in the opening quarter. A field goal and a touchdown on Chris Strebler's first 2 series here in Montreal.
I'll show you a wide shot of that touchdown. Andrew Harris lines up here, and then he's going to sneak down the seam here. Watch Brandon Dozier get stuck thinking that it's a hitch pass to Darvin Adams and coming up trying to make the tackle. That's the key right here. Dozier's moving forward, and you see Andrew Harris slipping past him. Darvin Adams floats it up over top, and touchdown, Winnipeg. The tip-off, though, for the defense was that Strebler moves towards the line of scrimmage, because that had to be a lateral pass, or else Darvin Adams couldn't make a second forward pass.
26-yard connection. Harris had only 1 touchdown reception last year out of his 105 catches, but he's had a big opening quarter. 4 catches, 51 yards, and a touchdown, and 15 on the ground. It'll get you back on that 1,000 pace that people were anticipating in the preseason. Been some crazy games between these 2 teams over the years. See if the Alouettes can play catch up here. Stefan Logan works his way to the 35-yard line. Thomas Miles on the top tackle as we join John Liu.
Well, thank you, Chris, and a great start for the Bombers. Andrew Harris, not so much for the Alouettes. Tyrell Sutton, who had a pretty quiet life in Montreal, cutting his teeth behind Brandon Whitaker and S.J. Green. But in recent years, he's had to take on a much larger role with this club, especially with the offense in transition, especially at the quarterback position. He's a much more dangerous, much more important weapon for this Alouettes offense. And so he's had to take on more of a mentorship and leadership role. His criteria for when he steps in to teach his young teammates is, if it's pertinent to me, it's pertinent to everybody. And so the self-described loner has certainly found his voice and loosens his tongue a whole lot more often than he used to. Guys?
Well, he's a dynamic personality. I was interested yesterday. He mentioned S.J. Green, Billy Parker, Gerald Brown were guys that led, and now he has moved into that here in his 7th year.
Yeah, well-spoken football players. Great interview and discussion with him yesterday.
5 for Ernest Jackson, 2nd and 5. Willie over the middle. A completion, a first down. B.J. Cunningham up at the 49-yard line.
Good throw. He's got to pull the trigger on these throws. Tyrell Sutton was established early in that BC game a week ago, and then they kind of went away from him. So don't be surprised at all to see Montreal go a lot more consistently to number 20 throughout this game.
Sutton 6th in rushing, and a carry here, and Opalugo closes down on him quickly.
Take a look at the offense for the Montreal Alouettes. There's Tyrell Sutton. It's be called Tyrell, and I asked him about his mentality when it comes to pass protection. He said, I think like an O-lineman thinks. That's my first priority. There's Sean Jamieson playing for Reuben Carter, who was injured in week 1 at tackle. Winnipeg native, played at Western Ontario.
Just 1 for Sutton, so 2nd and 9. Passing situation, pressure coming, and Willie hit as he delivered the football incomplete.
That one hurt him.
Intended for Chris Williams.
That was a big push down Main Street. I think it was Drake Nevis. LSU product that is just pushing the pocket back. Four-point stance, rip move underneath. Philip Blake right in the face of Drew Willie.
So BD to punt. Fogg awaits. Back at the Bomber 10. Drills that to the 8-yard line. Fogg surrounded. Terrific cover on the play as Dozier was down in a hurry after a 53-yard punt. Well, he's made an immediate impact with his head coach, Chris Trebler.
The same. I mean, the same type of growth. He does learn quite quickly. He makes throws. He's accurate. He's athletic. You know, I think he's excited about the opportunity. And shoot, he's had a game. He's not a rookie anymore.
I didn't know rookie status ended after one game.
One game and you're no longer a rookie. Well, I guess you're in the fire. You might as well go ahead.
That might be the ultimate compliment, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Another deep start. Just like the first possession, there's Dembski stretching out for a catch in front of newcomer Taekwon Glass.
Well, he's a bright kid, and what he wants to do is learn every day, and he always goes by what his head coach says, and Mike O'Shea, and he says, make sure you're learning. Go out and apply it on the field, and get back into the classroom and learn it. See that wristband he's going off right now. Throughout camp in the preseason, he didn't have to go to there to study, to have cheat sheet and cheat notes. He would just memorize it, put it to memory, so it was second nature to him.
2nd and 6, sees some heat over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Dressler with the youngster Glass in coverage once again. So final play of the first quarter, the Montreal defense comes up with a 2-and-out, but a big first quarter for Chris Trebler and the Bombers. 10-0 after one quarter play. Good start for the visitors, and the 4th consecutive quarter without a point for the Alouettes, who were shut out for the final 3 quarters in BC.
Well, and I love the trick play from Paul LaPolice for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to go to that double pass to Darvin Adams and Andrew Harris with the touchdown. Good start for Chris Trebler. On the other hand, Montreal is struggling. I mean, that goes without saying when you only have 1 first down in the quarter. They can't block them up front. That's their issue right now. They've got to figure out a way to maybe bring in tight ends or get Tyrell Sutton help in the pass protection.
Drew Willie has a good receiving core, but as you mentioned, just not much time to deploy them in the first 15 minutes of action. Should get the football in good field position to start the second quarter. Medlock standing at his own 1-yard line. Stefan Logan is back, just 54 yards of kick return production last week. Fields it inside Bomber territory and is dropped at the 51. There is a flag down on the play.
During the return, illegal block, Montreal number 23. 10-yard penalty, first down, Montreal.
So the penalty goes against Montreal. We asked Mike Sherman about his starting quarterback.
I like the way he throws the ball. I think he has the potential to be a very good leader. You know, when you're trying to become the guy, it's hard to step out of yourself until you are the guy. And so he's starting to come forward a little bit more from a leadership standpoint.
90th game for Drew Willie, his 40th career start. Just 12 wins so far. This will help him. Tyrell Sutton, open field, and down at the 18-yard line. 30-yard rump.
It's also a formation that they had to go to. Tight end set with Patrick Lavoie to get some help up front. Whether they're running the ball or throwing it, they need to block the Winnipeg Blue Bomber D-line. They get that with a nice kick-out block from Patrick Lavoie, and away goes Tyrell Sutton.
I cheated him out of yards, 44 yards on the carry for Sutton. 843 yards last year. Patrick Lavoie stays in the block, and there is Ernest Jackson. Loeffler and Fogg bring him down. Drew Willie's favorite college target, the Buffalo Products, reunited.
Now the freshmen together was his go-to target in college. So both quarterbacks in this game have a familiar face in the huddle. And for this play, he's out at that number 1 spot, the wideout spot. Ernest Jackson and Chris Williams together in Ottawa. were as good as it got as a receiver combo over those 2 years.
Williams the wide out to the far side of the field. Willie has some protection. Open man, and Logan can't make the catch.
He just adjusted for some reason, almost kind of stutter stepped, and then it was all of a sudden too far out of his reach. But the throw looked good. It's the wheel route right here to get him outside and then right down the sideline. But he turns it up, runs the route nicely. A little hesitation just out of his reach.
Had a step on Javon Santos Knox. It falls incomplete. And it's 2nd and goal from the 8. In the end zone, and it's a touchdown. B.J. Cunningham. A little World Cup tribute there on the free kick.
A penalty kick. Got it. Drive Montreal needed badly. And a nice throw, confident throw from Drew Willie. Starts the drive off with a big run from Tyrell Sutton, and then a strike after missing Sutton on that wheel route. B.J. Cunningham with his first touchdown of the 2018 campaign.
Had one taken off the board last week in BC. They came right back and scored nonetheless. So a little Cristiano Ronaldo from Cunningham, but Beatty knows a thing or two about kicking as well. Well, the Alouettes changed the complexion of the game on that short drive. A big run by Sutton and a finishing touchdown catch and kick by Cunningham.
Coming off a personal best year, B.J. Cunningham, watch what he does at the top of the route just to take a step back to the ball. It's a corner route, but the way that Anthony Gator plays it on the high shoulder, he has to come back through him to get the football in the touchdown.
Great field position to start the drive. 4 plays, 62 yards in under 2 minutes after a 2-and-out by the defense.
And that was a penalty. That was not a penalty kick. I want to make sure soccer fans are going to be tweeting if I don't get this right. That was a free kick.
I think it was a free kick
because they got the wall in front of
a little bend there.
Guy, you got to bend it around. Okay, I got you.
Not sure he bended like Beckham, but mention how tight this series has been over the years. 14 of their last 18 meetings have been decided by 8 points or fewer. Mo Leggett out of his end zone, and he gets drilled. Taken down on a heavy hit by William Stanback. The backup running back backs up Winnipeg. Let's join John Liu with a special guest.
Well, thank you, Chris. We're here with Andrew Wettenhall, the Alouettes lead governor and co-owner. And Andrew, after a very difficult, disappointing 2017 season, what did you perceive as the priorities for your club to try to get it steered in the direction that you want to see it going?
Great question. Look, we've torn apart the business from all of the pieces, started to build a foundation in each of 3 components. Building a championship caliber football team, really delivering an outstanding fan experience in the stadium and outside the stadium, and of course, embedding our team, players, personnel, ownership in the community.
Thank you for this, Andrew. Best of luck to you this season.
Great to see you.
Well, the big job ahead for a team that won just 3 last year. And job 1 to snap a 12-game losing streak.
I like their program, though. It's called Roots and Wings. And talking to the players yesterday, Tyrell Sutton was one of the guys that trying to teach even the players about the history of this franchise. I think it's important.
2nd and short. Harris met by Mwamba, who tosses him back, and it looks like Winnipeg's going to be short of the first down. Well, there's a big building block, one of 9 Canadians starting for the Alouettes in this game.
Yeah, they got the Westermans up front, so that helps right there, Jamal and Jabbar, and then Enoch Mwamba behind them at middle linebacker. Big play there for him.
Only need 7 Canadian starters, but with 9, there's extra flexibility on other players coming in, like Chip Cox, who we expect to come in a extra package defensively. Well, they ruled forward progress was enough. 1st and 10. fake to Harris on a roll, Strebler. And he finds Bowman again. Third catch for Darius Bowman, brought down by Brandon Dozier.
I talked to Andrew Harris yesterday about playing against this Alouette defense and what he expects, and he said, well, it's the Rich Stubler style defense that he's going to make you earn it. You may get some yards against this defense, but it's very difficult to put majors on the board. He makes you earn them all.
Second down, hands off to Harris, makes the first man miss. Powered by Dominic Ellis, and terrific run by Andrew Harris for a first down.
That's what I mean when he gets going downhill. When he gets a little momentum, this is the power he brings because he keeps his feet pumping. Big, strong lower body, but drops his pad level to where you can't get any leverage defensively. Got to try to slow him in the backfield to get him under control.
78 yards from scrimmage already for Harris in the game, just 20 minutes in. So first down at the Winnipeg 42. Wolotarski to the near side. Four-man rush, Strebler over the middle end. Weston Dressler's got a catch. One of two Bomber receivers with over 9,000 career receiving yards. He and Bowman both with catches in this game.
And when you look at the lineups tonight, there's some not only all-stars in this lineup, but there's award winners in this lineup. I mean, there's Weston Dressler, a two-time all-star, outstanding player nominee a couple of times.
12 for Dressler. Back in the hands of Harris. Made the first man miss.
Remember, outstanding rookie year for Weston Dressler in Saskatchewan was the outstanding rookie. I mean, when you take a look at both of these teams and the lineup they're putting out there tonight, these are just award winners. Andrew Harris, top Canadian. Michael Shea, coach for the Bombers back in '99, was a top Canadian. There's Chris Williams in two categories, special teams and rookie. We haven't heard from him yet here tonight. There's Dressler, rookie of the year. Of course, Adam Bighill. Stanley Bryan, outstanding lineman. I mean, some well-decorated players out there.
Both running backs have been rushing champions in the league. Second and 11, a shot here, and Darvin Adams has the catch. A big completion down to the Montreal 19. There is a flag down. Looks like it's against the Alouettes.
Well, he's really settling in. I mean, picking up from what he did well last week, learning from his mistakes, and Chris Strebler is in a rhythm.
To goal, automatic first down.
Westerman called. That'll take it even further into Montreal territory.
Last week he attempted 5 throws of over 20 yards, completed 3 of them. He worked early in the first quarter. Andrew Harris in combination with intermediate to short routes, and was precise in releasing the ball quickly. That showed that he understands the concepts, and then hits the deep ball there to Darvin Adams.
38-yard connection, 12 for 14, 127 for Strebler in the first half. Looked to swing it out, now dumps it down, and it's incomplete, intended for Dembski.
Well, and just again, a little show of inexperience there. Dembski's wondering why he didn't throw it out there to Darvin Adams. It looked like there were 2 options, a swing pass to Darvin Adams or to Dembski on the screen. Watch Darvin Adams here. He's going to open up immediately. And I think Strebler kind of looked at him. If he takes Darvin Adams right there, he's still running, probably walks in.
Yeah.
But he goes to the second option to Nick Dembski.
Second and goal from just inside the 10. Dembski and Dressler in motion. And Strebler looking for Dembski. Came back to the ball. Touchdown, Nick Dembski. Well, he was determined to get it in the hands of Dembski, and they connect for another Winnipeg touchdown.
Well, tough year for Dembski last year. Broke his foot in Saskatchewan, signs here with Winnipeg, comes back home to Winnipeg, and wins the jump ball. on Brandon Dozier.
Already 2 touchdowns on the season for Dembski, who said he didn't come home as much to be home, but to be in this offense, and he could be a key component of Paul LaPolice's offense. So a response from the Winnipeg offense, driving the field, 8 plays, 95 yards in 5 minutes. And this touchdown connection to Nick Dembski.
Both these teams like the wheel route. This is Dembski on the wheel route this time. Watch number 10 get into the end zone, and then the deliberate throw behind from the young Chris Strevler, 23 years old, and he's got the wherewithal to throw it to the back shoulder, not up the field here. And when it's on that back shoulder, it's actually Dominique Ellis who's in coverage. He can't recoup, and it's a touchdown for Nick Dembski. Deliberate throw behind, so Dembski can cut back underneath.
95-yard touchdown drive. Earlier in the game, a 16-play drive, which is the longest of the year. Here's Logan getting loose, getting outside, and turning upfield, and angled out finally. Late hit at the end of the play at the 50, and that'll take it into Winnipeg territory. Shane Gauthier will draw the penalty, but it is a 10-point lead on the Dembski touchdown reception. Friday Night Football continues tonight. Second game of our doubleheader. It's the Ticats and the Eskimos. Get you to 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific after our game. Darrell Walker, a 101-yard touchdown play against Winnipeg last week.
Late hit out of bounds here will add some penalty yardage to a real good return by Steph Logan.
48-yard return. 15 takes it to the Winnipeg 45-yard line. Short field. Fake to Sutton. Look out. Opa time! Tristan Opalaugo has his second sack of the night.
Just did not bite at all to the play fake to Tyrell Sutton. I mean, the idea here is to pull Tristan Opalaugo in off the edge because of this play fake, but watch, he does not get fooled at all, and Patrick Lavoie can't even block him. He's that quick to the quarterback.
Coach O'Shea says Opalaugo runs all day and runs Willie back for a 7-yard loss. Here's a completion over the middle, and the catch is made by Eugene Lewis. Had a touchdown in BC last week. Got back near the original line of scrimmage, and let's see if the field goal unit comes on.
This point would be about a 52, 53-yarder.
Looks like the punt team has come on for Mike Sherman.
Yeah, a little bit of wind behind Montreal, but
saw Kevin Fogg return one last week.
Yeah, exactly. Over a 100-yard return for Fogg. That may have swayed Coach Mike Sherman.
Big 2-and-out for the Bomber D. Flag comes down. Beatty to Fogg at the 10. He's loose anyway. And Boris Beatty has to step up and drag him down, and that will draw a flag. Not sure if that's a horse collar they're going to call on Beatty. So 2 penalties to sort out.
Beatty had no choice on the tackle. That's one of those, if there are good penalties, that's probably a good penalty for Montreal. Because
last man back.
If not, Fogg is still running and he scores. What that other flag is the question.
Looks like they're both going against the Alouettes.
Penalty still an issue. Mike Sherman told us yesterday that he did it in a couple of ways. He worked on technique to try and eliminate the penalties from week 1, but also made some personnel decisions because of it.
We have illegal formation, Montreal. That penalty will be declined. We have major foul, unnecessary roughness, horse collar tackle, Montreal. That's a 15-yard penalty. First down, Winnipeg.
The Argos are rolling again.
We all live for moments of greatness. Those moments can only be achieved when we pull together.
Looking forward to that tomorrow night. BMO sounds like it'll be sold out for the Grey Cup rematch. Boy, the field just flipped in a hurry, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Replica rings tomorrow night for the first 6,000 fans. That's a great idea.
And at midfield, Strebler with the fake on a roll. Dressler's got another catch and gets outside. It's a Bomber first down, and this alert to Jock climbing because Weston Dressler needed only 55 yards coming into the game to pass Jock, our buddy on the all-time list.
Yeah, and this was an excellent play fake from Chris Strebler because it froze the Montreal defense. Remember when Drew Willie couldn't freeze Oplaugo? Well, that froze the defense for Montreal, opens up Weston Dressler, steps out of bounds after getting the first down.
24 for Dressler on the night, so he's 31 away. Maybe a free play here and a catch made as Adams comes back to the football, like eats Tommy Campbell in a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, I'm just going to say Chris Strebler can go ahead and make a couple of mistakes. He belongs. He just looks like he belongs. And that's what his teammates have been saying. In fact, Weston Dressler in the preseason, I've mentioned this already, but he said in the preseason he had command of the huddle the moment he stepped in there.
Procedure, Winnipeg, number 10.
Dressler's
5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Dressler's been in huddles with a lot of veteran quarterbacks. And you know immediately, whether it's a defensive huddle with a middle linebacker calling the plays or an offensive huddle where your quarterback's calling the plays, when they step in there, if they have command of it and you believe immediately, boy, it goes a long way to having success. And they said that about Chris Strebler.
And when we asked Andrew Harris yesterday, does he remind you of anybody? He said, yeah, just like Travis Lulay in his rookie season. That's some high praise as well. But it was Dembski, illegal procedure, so down over and 15 yards to go, and Harris makes the first man miss and gets it back down to the Montreal 40-yard line. A terrific first half for number 33. And they go without a huddle here on 2nd and 7. Quarterback draw. Can Mwamba trip him up? No, and Strebler's got a first down.
Boy, that's Saskatchewan's leading tackler last year. Enoch Mwamba steps up and Strebler makes a miss. I mean, this is one of the great tacklers in the game. Mwamba has him one-on-one in the middle and can't get to him.
So he's rushed for 41 yards in the game. Another first down for the Bombers. They take the sweep to Dembski. On a roll, Strebler guns it in and has his old roommate Drew Wolotarski again.
See Paul LaPolice's play here. He's going to pull Jamarcus Hardrick all the way the opposite direction and then have Strebler reverse out there and try to influence the defense with misdirection. So much so that he's pulling a lineman away from where his quarterback's going. That makes it very difficult to read defensively.
So another first down. Fake to Harris and then throws it at the feet of Dembski. Incomplete. Oh, we've hit the 3-minute warning. First half, a 10-point Winnipeg lead. And the Bombers knocking at the door again.
Rod, the boys back in the studio. Matty will be here. I am told he will be. We're going to talk about Chris Strebler dealing with the odd dimensions of the Montreal end zone and also the importance of the running game, especially to that Owls offense. Special announcement coming up as well as we send you back to CC and Suits.
Thanks, Rod. Impressive performance here. Strebler within 7 yards of his total for all of last week. And how about second down there? 13 of 15 on second down conversions. A big one here at 2nd and 10. Over the middle, it's complete. It's Wolotarski. Touchdown. Well, the roommates conspire again for a major score.
Crossing route, and as soon as Chris Streveler sees the defender turn his head, he delivers the football to his old roommate, who does the rest. Boy, he just walked in. It's uncontested. And Streveler is now over what he passed for last week.
7 plays, 55 yards in 2:44 to extend the lead. Medlock the extra point. So Wolodarski with touchdowns in each of his first 2 starts.
Wolodarski's going to start out at the wide receiver spot, but this is a little waggle motion in here, and then the crossing route. So there's his route, shallow crosser, but it was the timing from Chris Streveler that made this play work, because he gets Dominic Ellis, who's dropping underneath that, to turn his head and look at the deeper crossing route. And as soon as he does that, I'll show you what happens here to Dominic Ellis. There's Ellis. Now watch when he turns and looks back here. That's right when Chris Streveler throws the football. Here he goes. He's dropping back. Stop it right there. He's looking now over here. Streveler's already got the ball out of his hands to that shallow crosser. The only defender that could help on that play was Ellis, but he was looking at the deeper crosser.
The only time Streveler's looked like a rookie on this trip to Montreal is when he gave up his room. As the starting quarterback, he gets a single room. And he thought, you know, I wouldn't mind rooming with Wolodarski. We could go over the playbook. Justin Medlock heard that and, like a good veteran, pounced on the opportunity to take over the single room on the road. I bet Wolodarski was putting that play in Streveler's ear when they talked about the playbook last night.
Well, Medlock, you know, he just was doing him a favor.
That's veteran stuff.
Veteran play by Medlock. Yeah, sure, I'll take the big king bed. Hang out. You room with your college roommate, buddy, and work on some plays.
Medlock within 2 points of 1,200 in his career now. And Drew Willie trying to answer, just 5 for 8, 38 yards passing. Not getting a lot of protection, and look out here, Jackson Jeffcoat had him in the grasp, and Willie avoids the sack by throwing it incomplete.
Well, it's Jeffcoat's turn. He's been watching his buddy Opelaugo on the other side get in the backfield all day long. This time they put the tight end out there, but they didn't block him. I mean, that's a bust up front. Xavier Fulton or Patrick Lavoie. One of them's got to take the defensive end, or Jeffcoat's going to add up another sack.
Second and 10, Big Hill showing blitz. And Opelaugo's got the interception. A one-handed stab, and he's forced out by Lavoie. There are penalty flags on the play. What a first half for Tristan Opelaugo, who had an interception and a 98-yard return last year.
Were they offside, though? And was it Opelaugo?
Number 54. 5-yard penalty.
Yep.
Repeat, second down.
Yeah, he stepped over, which is one of the reasons he was in the throwing lane. He steps up here, and one of the reasons he's in the throwing lane is he realized that he stepped offside. I'm offside now. I'm going to give it. Well, now I'm hesitant and not going on my pass rush, so that's why he's in that throwing lane.
So a reprieve for Willie and the Alouettes. 2nd and 5. Stands in, pocket collapsing, down he goes. This time it's Anthony Gator on the halfback blitz. We were told yesterday Drew Willie will be as successful as the Alouettes protect him in this game, and he hasn't got much protection in this first half.
Well, in the first quarter, it was worse. I thought on that play, Chris, that he had time initially. He looked like on his first read, he had time to get rid of it. But the back end for the Bombers covered down well. Either that or he missed an open receiver because it looked like he had initial time.
So Petey to punt, and that one is blocked. That ball on the ground, and it will be down inside the 2-yard line. Looked like Mike Miller, or was it the Darius Bowman got to the football? Excuse me, it's the rookie Simon Eyes. Second round pick, number 12 in the draft, number 13 in the program, has the punt block.
Well, apparently he told somebody that he was going to block a punt because he keeps saying into the camera that I told you I was going to get one. Simon Eyes inside, you got to take the inside out.
Mike Miller missed the pickup, but they get on the football down at the 2-yard line. All going the Bombers' way here. First and goal. Andrew Harris. And Harris reaching in, and he signaled. Going to say he was down. Of course, controversial play on that stunning comeback last year when Harris scored on the final play of the game for a stunning 41-40 victory.
Take another look, see if I tough to tell if he crossed the plane from any of those angles.
Strebler keeps this time. Looks like he did break the plane. No indication. And a flag down.
Flag down, flag down.
Looks like his shoulders might have crossed the goal line. He has been shaken up a bit, but didn't extend the ball over the goal line.
He's not moving that left arm very much. There he goes. He's trying to shake it off.
Thought we saw flags fly, but well, they do call offside, so it's first and goal from the 1 now. There were flags on the play. Didn't get an announcement, but first and goal, they'll do it again. Strebler again. He's in this time. Touchdown.
Well, let's take another look as we sort out what happened there when we get that first down again. But anyway, off the right tackle this time, instead of going between center guard gap, which is the A gap, he tried to go outside in the C, outside of Jamarcus Hardrick, and this time Strebler gets there. Just before the half, he'll be able to have the training staff take a look at that shoulder. It looked like he was favoring it a little bit on that first hit.
Well, the block punt sets up the touchdown. And an extra point from Justin Medlock. As Rashawn Simon Eyes, the rookie, helps set up another Winnipeg touchdown that extends the lead to 24. And Michael O'Shea, I think, trying to get an explanation for what happened on the previous play.
Well, I believe they didn't make an announcement, but I believe they ruled that it was offside Montreal, which is why it was first down again on the 1-yard line, and that they ruled that Strebler did not score, even though it looked like to us that he got in on that first attempt. They ruled that he didn't cross the plane, so it was first down again on the 1, and then he finishes it. Great first half for young Chris Strebler in just his second start, 23 years old.
30 points last week in his CFL debut, 31 here in the opening half that isn't done yet. There's Logan. This time reversed to the right side and is taken down around the 33. 2018 FIFA World Cup continues tomorrow. 3 group stage matches. Belgium takes on Tunisia. South Korea, Mexico, Germany battles Sweden. Action gets underway 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific across the TSN network.
Anyone there that can take a free kick like BJ Cunningham?
There might be a few.
Might be a couple there.
Frustrating first half for this Alouette offense. And more of this as Willie's buried. They're going to rule incomplete here, or that he was down as the ball popped loose at the 15. And now a flag comes down. And would that be the grounding call?
Has to go across the line of scrimmage to have no receiver around it to be a fair throw or a throw without penalty.
Montreal, number 5. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. It will be second down.
A combo action here from Drake Nevis and Tristan Oplaugo. Work in tandem here. Get the good push, one inside. Oplaugo's outside, making sure he can't escape that way and just push right down the middle. Jeffcoat contain on the near side of the field.
This time dropped off. Ty Sutton up over the 20. That will stem the rush, but well short of a first down.
It's tough. I mean, Kahari Jones at halftime's got to start figuring out how they're going to try and move the football and try and block these guys up front. They can't handle Oplaugo. Jeffcoat's been in the backfield. Drake Nevis in the middle. I mean, if you can't block them up front, you might as well go to your run game. At least let your O-lineman drive off the football and get Tyrell Sutton going. Because right now, Drew Willie just is, even if he tries a screen pass, he doesn't have time to do that.
Still time for the Bombers to do some more damage here in the opening half. More pressure. Beatty gets it away. And Fogg at his 50. Reverse field and dragged down. Good coverage by Stanback.
Got Andrew Harris going early in this game in the first quarter, and Strebler running. I think that was Paul LaPolice's game plan coming in. Get them run a little trick play where he dug way down into the bottom of that playbook and found this double pass. Darvin Adams to Andrew Harris. Nice throw behind to Nick Dembski. Deep ball in here that wasn't in that pack, but a deep ball to Darvin Adams as well.
And throws complete. Another catch by Darius Bowman. And Strebler closing in on 200 first half passing yards. He had 6,081 passing yards in 2 seasons at the University of South Dakota with 54 touchdowns.
Completion percentage excellent too.
Last week 53.6, this week 81% here in the first half, and more yardage for Harris straight ahead. And a first down, Bombers.
Trying to get in field goal range and add 3 more. A little more comfortable field goal range, I should say, because they're in range.
Don't need much. Got Strebler running, and he got tripped up by Westerman. Just inside the 40, so definitely in Medlock range.
Maybe one more play quickly if they are efficient.
Do you take the shot here? Looks one way. And his third decision on the play was to just run it out of bounds. And just in time.
It says zeros, but
yeah, it looked like there was at least a second when he got out of bounds.
I was going to say 2, maybe just 1 second, but they're putting that 1 back on the clock. Let's see.
There's a little lesson, though, right?
Absolutely, but that was great awareness there. Chris Strebler knew he had that 13 seconds, took off running, and head straight for the sideline. With 1 second to spare, get his field goal kicker out there.
Mike Sherman reacting, thought maybe there had been zeros on the clock, but it's clear that should have been 2 seconds, but enough time for the Medlock field goal attempt. The well-rested Justin Medlock. From 40 yards out, and he nails that. Dominant first half for the visitors. And a young rising star in just his second CFL start, Chris Strebler. With more, let's join the panel. Here's Rod.
Thank you, CC. There are your numbers. Wow, the stats don't lie. Milt Stegall, you have more touchdowns than anyone in the history of the game. Did he ever throw a touchdown pass?
Never, Rod. Why do you ask?
Darvin Adams did.
Shut up, Rod.
Here's Darvin with John Lou.
Well, Darvin, judging by the spiral, the airtime, and the accuracy on your touchdown pass to Andrew Harris, I suspect there's some quarterbacking in your resume. Can you just fill us in on where that came from?
Yeah, man, I guess so. You know, I played a little quarterback in high school, but I'm just doing whatever it takes to help win.
Would you take a look at that 24-point, or well, actually 20, my math isn't the greatest, but that point difference on the scoreboard, to what extent was that opening drive of almost 8 minutes the tone setter for the lead that you built?
Oh, man, we talked about it all week, you know, just keeping the offense on the field, give our defense a break. I mean, Chris doing a great job, Coach Lapo doing a great job, especially the O-line, man. We're doing a great job of just giving the defense time, letting them rest, and we just putting points on the board.
Thanks for this, Darvin.
Thank you.
All Bombers, he said their defense has been great. Just win, baby. Well, they're certainly halfway there with a 27-point lead. Young Chris Strebler looking good, too. Alouettes got some work to do. We'll be back.
A 27-point lead for the visitors as we head to the second half. But first, sidelines, John Lou is with head coach Sherman.
Mike, coming out of week 1, you said that this week you were looking for better offense and improved discipline. How would you rate those two elements of the club's game after one half tonight?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious to every fan and everybody watching on TV we've done neither. So we have a long way to go. We have to play a half of football the way we say we're going to play football, not just talk about it.
Is your defense putting enough pressure on Strebler in your view?
No, we're not getting there. We have brought pressure, but they picked us up, and we're not getting home.
Thank you for this, Mike.
Yep.
Sounds like it was a truthful from the heart discussion for Coach Mike Sherman and his football team to say, stop talking about it and start playing like the way you want to play. Looks like Drew Willie will come back. Not much option there. Jeff Matthews is new to the team. Matthew Schultz is not ready because he's injured, not dressed tonight.
Garrett Fugate, number 3, is brand new and hasn't had the reps. Chris Strebler's brand new too, but he got some reps and has seized his moment. Here's Logan, and a good return by Logan, one of the bright spots of the first half.
Well, Strebler's getting some help up front, and Drew Willie is not. I mean, my guess is that Coach Sherman talked to his offensive line and gave them the speech that this is just not good enough. I mean, it's a fast break on Willie. He can't set up. He can't get his feet planted. He is on the run. That was illegal grounding as he just desperately tried to get it out of his hands.
Now they start double tight ends to open the second half and swing it to Chris Williams, and Brandon Alexander on the scene to bring that to a quick halt. But there's the first adjustment, the double tight ends to help protect Drew Willie.
Yeah, no question. That's what Kari Jones decided. He'd go double tight end. They go with a hit screen, go ahead and run it, guys, and they're going to just. But here's the thing: when your defensive line is playing as well as Winnipeg's did in the first half, your DBs just start creeping to the line of scrimmage. So, yeah, the hitch pass gets the ball out of Drew Willie's hands, But those DBs are going to climb up on that quickly when they know our D-line's playing so well.
There's Willie, second down. A pass complete up around the 49, and might be a first down for Eugene Lewis. They were 2 for 7 on second down conversions in the opening half.
Nice little curl route here from Lewis, down and come back. Got a bit of a cushion. And the key here is he got Brandon Alexander to turn his hips as if he was going deep. Nice route.
So a conversion on second and long. Fresh set of downs. Lewis stays in the block. The handoff to Sutton. And across the 50 for close to 3.
Boy, Richie Hall is calling a great game plan, and it's a lot easier when his defensive ends are playing as well as they are. Clearly, Coach Mike Sherman and the Montreal Alouettes did not read the book, because Richie Hall's got a new book out. I don't know if you know that. It's called Smoke and Mirrors.
Giving away all the secrets.
You remember that Patton in the movie Patton when he was fighting Rommel in the desert and he yelled to Rommel, "I got your book, I read your book."
Second and 8, couple of reads, nothing open, and he'll throw it away.
It's called Smoke and Mirrors, and I love one of the quotes. It said, "A team achieves what is emphasized." It's in the book. You get a good insight as to just sort of Richie Hall's, how he approaches the game, how he approaches coaching. So a lot of insight in there, just some great stories as well. But I don't think Mike Sherman's read the book.
Beatty to punt from near midfield. One blocked in the first half and one off the side of his foot here. So the unraveling continues. He had 2 illegal punts last week and one here that just adds on to the kind of night it's been for the Alouettes. Chris Strebler getting set to go back to work after 308 net offensive yards in the first half. Well, this reminds me of my golf game.
Well, it's tough to tell. Looked like Beatty kept his eyes on the ball. The drop was a little off, and he may have just got out of his step cadence, but his head coach was not happy. I think on the headset he said, "How far was that punt?" And when they told him it was 11 yards, that's the reaction.
Plus a penalty of 10 yards for it going out of bounds. So that's a net of 1, and a bad reminder of a couple of seasons ago when Beatty struggled. Here's Strebler back to work, incomplete at the feet of Dembski.
Well, let's take a look at the first 6 quarters for 23-year-old Chris Strebler and just the numbers. 36 of 50, 374, 5 touchdowns, 3 last week, 2 in the first half here tonight. A couple of picks, but he's also run the ball very well.
Worked on a short week last week in his CFL debut after the injury to Matt Nichols. 2nd and 10. Takes off. Great speed. And look at that. Down to the 25. And he continues to chew up the yardage on the ground. That's a 28-yard run. And he might be on his way to a 100-yard rushing game.
Well, you mentioned when he had his pro day, he ran the best 40 time of any quarterback, and it was as good as most receivers running backs. 4.45. He showed an extra gear there.
Haven't had a 100-yard rushing game yet in the league. A couple times he's called for a snap in the first 6 quarters before the play had been blown in.
Well, they like to go tempo, but he just didn't wait on that whistle that you just heard.
William Powell, 94 yards in that red-black win last night on the ground. And a delayed draw to Harris. And Enoch Mwamba was there.
Nice matchup here. Middle linebacker Enoch Mwamba with top running back last year, Andrew Harris. Underneath handoff there. That's good linebacker play. Step up in that B gap. And nice low pad level for Muamba. Get him in 2nd and long.
27-point game, but you've mentioned this more than a few times in games like this. You find out who still wants to play under these conditions. Strebler underneath, and Harris can't hang on, and Enoch Muamba's there. He's showing up for the second half.
I need some leadership from him as well. Some of the Bombers telling him take a look at the scoreboard probably at this point, but to him it doesn't matter. When you're down like this in a game, you go in at halftime, you're a veteran, you're telling your teammates, guys, let's win the second half and take it from there. Just, you're trying to get your season on track in a bigger picture way. Win the second half. If that means you still lose the game, well, at least you made some ground in the right direction.
Medlock's got over 1,200 career points in the game and adds 3 more. And it's now a 30-point lead for the Bombers, just shy of the 5-minute mark, third quarter. Did you mention the rebranding of the Alouettes Roots and Wings? It began in 1946. By 1949, the Alouettes Grey Cup champions, led by Hal the Prince Patterson. And they are wearing the wings on the helmets that you saw from 1946 to 69. Ones that I wouldn't mind them staying with. Pretty cool. It's the current edition of the Alouettes that are having trouble taking flight. B.J. Cunningham into the 50s, which was dominated by that guy, one of the iconic figures in Montreal Alouette football, Sam the Rifle. He and Hal Patterson were an unbeatable combination back then. Team won a surprise Grey Cup in 1970, and that ushered in another era of Alouette glory.
I have a feeling Marv Levy's coming around here pretty soon.
There's Chris Williams. They try to utilize that speed up to the 48-yard line. Well, they made some noise off the field, too. They recruited the ordinary superstar Johnny Rogers there with the owner, Sam Berger. And you saw Junior Ayu, Peter Della Riva, celebrating cups in the 70s, and that ushered in the era, the Big O, where they put in 68,000 plus for their first ever regular season game there. Here's Willie, gonna air it out. Wants Williams, and step for step was Chris Randall.
He's a guy that we haven't talked about at all tonight. Chris Williams, first, I think, target in his direction. And not really close on the throw. It was outside shoulder. Chris Williams had worked to a skinny post on the inside of the defender, but at least a shot deep, and Drew Willie had time to get it out there.
Alouette connection in the history of Drew Willie, whose head coach at Buffalo was Turner Gill, starting quarterback here right out of college at Nebraska. And Willie with a completion there to Eugene Lewis, and the Alouettes starting to march the football.
A couple of times now he's hit Lewis on this curl route, and he's getting a little bit of room from Brandon Alexander, so he's taking advantage of it. Now Alexander, I'm sure, is going to tighten up a little bit. Remember the first time he turned his hips looking like he was going deep. This time, well, actually it was Anthony Gator on the short side in that one.
So first down at the just outside the Bomber 50. More time, dumps it off. Tyrell Sutton, Adam Bighill, and Sutton powers his way to another first down.
Well, it's been better. It's been better for Montreal, better up front. This time they got a man on Opolugo, kept him wide, gave Willie time to check it down.
Bighill's second tackle of the game. First and 10. Dropped off again. And it's Sutton to the 35 with 5 more.
Tristan Opalahugo is so difficult to handle, and you know, it's not. Yeah, you got Xavier Fulton out there, who is a 32-year-old veteran in the Canadian Football League and an All-Star, former All-Star, who is having his struggles. Sean Jameson's getting his first start. He's just 23 years old, so it depends on which side they play on. But that first step by Opalahugo, as good as it gets.
Call it 6 for Sutton, 2nd and 4. Protection good underneath. Chris Williams, another first down as he jitters down to the 26.
Now the other thing is, Winnipeg strategically, I'm sure Richie Hall said to the DBs, with this kind of lead, a 30-point lead, you're asking your DBs to give them a little more room. Make everything underneath, throw it underneath, come up and make the tackle, take the time off the clock, go away with a road win.
Kirby Fabian in at left guard, the former BC Lion, taking over second half. Draw play, Stephen Logan rumbles down to the 15-yard line.
A-gap run here between center and guard. Let's see him blocking up front. Milt Stegall called it at halftime. If you're having trouble pass protecting, run the ball.
With that run, this surprised me since when I saw it earlier today. Logan over 2,000 rushing yards in his CFL career. Had 13 on that run. Started out as a back in BC into the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Cunningham, working against Anthony Gator.
Gator just signaled. That may be their signal when he grabbed his shoulder pad there to challenge this. I didn't see it live, so let's take a look, see if there was early contact. Looked like the ball was just a little bit behind Cunningham.
Willie wants the call, doesn't get it. Alouettes with 4 first downs in the first half. They've registered 5 on this drive. 10th play of the drive, trying to finish it here. 2nd and 10. Pressure on, and Willie throws it away.
You might as well go here now. They're gonna, looks like they might take the 3. I'm not sure. I wouldn't just play 3-down football from here out in, try and make the comeback. It does build a little positive feeling on your bench.
If you're playing that win the second half strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
Beatty from short range, 21-yard field goal. And they come away with 3, 37-10 is the score. Andrew Harris has had a big game so far. John Liu, more on number 33 when we come back. No player's ever done it in the CFL, 1,000, 1,000. Andrew Harris close last year, and with more on his pursuit and his veteran status, here's John Liu.
Well, thank you, Chris. And with all due respect to Brandon Whitaker, the man who calls himself two-way, Andrew Harris is taking that handle to another level. In conversation with TSN yesterday, Harris described himself as a 4-way player. Rusher, pass catcher, blocker, and leader, taking on whatever role the Bombers need him to perform. And as you mentioned before, CC, the fact that Harris very nearly became the first 1,000 player in CFL history. I think he's earned the right to give himself a nickname a la George Costanza. So let's send it back up to C-Bone and G-Bone.
It's a show about nothing. He's something, though. I mean, this guy, and I love that. The fourth one being leadership. One of the leadership aspects of it is him just making Chris Strevler a little more comfortable offensively. Say they joke around now, and Strevler gives it back to him.
Direct snap to him here, and works his way ahead for 4.
He said that Andrew Harris would be kind of, getting on him a little bit, having some fun and joking around with Strevler, and he was the rookie and trying to be respectful and quiet. But now it's week 2, and as Mike O'Shea said, after one game, you're no longer a rookie. So they kind of go back and forth, and it just makes the whole kind of learning and trusting each other process a little bit easier, and they get a little closer.
Harris started the night 500 yards rushing short of John Cornish on the all-time rushing list. Strevler trying to keep the drive alive, and he finds Andrew Harris for a first down connection, and they are now 19 of 22 on second down in the game.
Amazing, really, for a quarterback this young and inexperienced, but he's playing with great confidence. And remember, as I said off the top, Montreal spent some money in the off-season free agency trying to get their secondary to a higher level. They brought in Tommy Campbell, had Mitchell White. He's going off to injury right now, but 2 very good corners to try and shore up their defense, their back end. Strevler in his second start, eating them up.
Harris 6 catches, 68 yards.
It's a quiet night for Tommy Campbell. I think he gave up 1 or 2 in the first half, but
as Drew Willie mentioned to us yesterday, they just don't throw that side of the field very often. Beaten only once for a touchdown last year in Calgary, but that came in the Grey Cup game. And it's the handoff to Dressler up to the 53. Well, you can't pull everybody out, but as we approach the fourth quarter, how many of your veteran starters do you want playing with a 30-point lead?
Well, Andrew Harris, I think, would be the no-brainer to kind of get him out pretty soon, right? They do have Keenan LaFrance dressed as the backup tailback, get him some reps. Strevler's a different dynamic.
27-point lead, slant pattern, and Darius Bowman with another catch, and he's into Alouette territory, a first down at the Montreal 50.
Because it'd be tempting for Michael O'Shea and for Paul LaPolice to keep Strevler in there just because he is so young and inexperienced. All these reps are important, but at the same time, Brian Bennett and Mitchell Gale are behind him. Matt Nichols still a few weeks out, maybe 3-4, and they certainly don't want to stop this momentum by a late injury in a game they've got handled here to Strevler.
But a chance for Harris to pad his stats, lowered his shoulders there, and down to the 45, gets 5 more.
I'll say this, though, if Michael O'Shea puts in any backup O-lineman, then he can get Strevler out of there. Starts looking at maybe a backup receiver or 2. You might think about getting your quarterback out too. But you know, the other thing is, I mean, you know, Montreal and you look at the ratings and rankings coming into the season, and this year Montreal is at the bottom, and easy for a team on the road, Winnipeg, to come in and maybe look past this game. They certainly haven't done that.
Enoch Mwamba has 7 tackles in the game. Harris again off the right side, first down, and cut down about the 32-yard line by the safety Jermaine Robinson.
Yeah,
and that stung him.
That stung him, low hit, and this is the concern. I was going to say is probably looking at the last series for Andrew Harris. That knee or hit by Robinson right on the knee. Right there on the right knee.
Well, Harris getting attention, and now that Bombers sideline collectively holding their breath. Well, good news, Andrew Harris made his way to the sidelines under his own power and on the bike now.
Jermaine Robinson comes out and just goes low on the hit. He heard it from some of Harris's teammates.
Got to ask you, because this has come up in the past, is it's not an illegal hit? Does it cut against the green in any way?
Well, I mean, after a DB has been trucked by a big back a few times, they're going to choose to try and tackle low. I mean, as you said, it's not illegal.
But we do get hits like this half dozen times a year where you see the teams all of a sudden get into the hot debate about. Harris had some words for the Montreal bench as he went off. Flag on this last play. Andrew Harris 126 yards from scrimmage on the night.
You know, the reason the Bombers may be so upset here is that they felt that Jermaine Robinson targeted the knee, like dove across to that outside knee rather than just try and tackle him low. I'm not sure he did that. I mean, you could look at it again, but he kind of turned his head away, so he wasn't even looking at what he was hitting. He just kind of dove low at him.
Penalty against Suk Chung, so it's 2nd and 20. Strevler out of the pocket, takes off, and lunging down to the 25-yard line. He'll be short of the first down, but that's 15 more on the ground, and he's up to 98 yards rushing.
Let's take another look at that Jermaine Robinson play. I mean, we'll show it to you, and you know, I think he kind of turns his head. He just goes low and turns his head. He doesn't look like he's targeting to try and take his knee out or anything like that. So I think that's what the Bombers may have thought. He just tried to tackle him low, threw his body in front of him. The problem was that Andrew Harris just didn't see it coming, and it caught that outside knee.
So Medlock trying to re-establish the 30-point advantage on the final play of the third quarter and puts it through from 33 yards out. So more points for Mike O'Shea and perhaps escaping a serious injury to Andrew Harris. Dominant performance by the Bombers so far. Drew Willie will try and cut into that for the fourth. Montreal's lost 12 straight. In 10 of them, they've allowed at least 30 points, and they've allowed 40 through 3 quarters here tonight.
Well, it was a tough first half because they couldn't get any protection up front. They've been better in that regard in the third quarter, but still just 10 first downs. That's 3 per quarter, basically. Not good enough. I mean, it leaves your defense out there too long.
I think Winnipeg fans have to be thrilled with Chris Strevler, and we're not going to have a quarterback controversy yet, I don't think, but he's been pretty good.
Wow, he's been outstanding. I mean, he looks like he fits right in, and his teammates love him. There's a lot to like. I mean, we got to meet him yesterday, and just sitting there in the room, talking to him, talk about football and the love of the game that he has, how he wants to improve every single time out. I mean, we're seeing it. I mean, he's better tonight than he was last week in game 1 at home against Edmonton.
They thought he got better as the game wore on against the Eskimos, and he continues to trend upward. There's Chris Williams, and I know you want to see Chris Williams get more involved if possible in this Montreal offense.
Well, they've got to. I mean, you remember back a couple of years ago when Chris Williams was in Ottawa, and he was featured in their offense. I mean, they'd put him into the short side, and they'd get him in either one-on-ones or man, and in combo with Ernest Jackson in those 2 years, 15 and 16, they were tough to stop. I mean, as good as it gets in the league.
Like they're offside here. Cunningham ahead of the snap underneath for Patrick Lavoie. Adam Bighill on the scene defensively, but looked like Montreal was offside on the play.
I mean, they're great weapons. Both can get down the field. I mean, take a look at that 15 and 16, 2 years now. It's a year removed. Darius Bowman and Darrell Walker were the best combo in the league, but Ernest Jackson, Chris Williams were right behind them at number 2. Almost 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. That's how...
Offside, Montreal. That penalty will be declined. Third down.
That's how explosive those 2 guys are. Manny Arsenault and Brian Burnham at third in that category. So, I mean, they have explosive receivers. And I mentioned how in Ottawa, Williams was featured. They'd put him in on one-on-ones. They'd get him to the short side of the field. They put him in the bunch formation, and they'd feature him. I'm talking about 7 to 10 targets a game.
Well, they combined for 6 catches, 29 yards tonight. Both had 50-yard plus catches last week in BC. Williams with 98 yards receiving. Here's Fogg, and whoa, he runs into a wall. That stand-back's been good on the teams. He's solidifying his position on the club, isn't he?
Well known for a famous hit when he played against Rutgers.
Good on the teams. Bomber football when we come back. The most incredible season yet as Everyday Heroes take on the race. The Amazing Race Canada Heroes Edition. The new season Tuesdays at 8, 9 Mountain starting July 3rd on CTV. So Keenan LaFrance has come into the game for Winnipeg to replace Andrew Harris in the fourth quarter. Looks like that's the only change. Another Manitoba product coming home. And Strebler airing it out. And he's got LaFrance. Great catch. As LaFrance out of the backfield makes an immediate impact.
Yeah, it shoots out of the backfield, straight down the field. Strebler with the throw behind, or the back shoulder throw once again. Dips into the line of scrimmage like he may run, and then look at the accuracy on that throw. Dominic Ellis again turns his head at the wrong time. Ball drops right behind him.
23-yard connection, first down. Alouette 50. And a handoff to LaFrance. Breaks a tackle. Second level and more. And back-to-back LaFrance plays all the way to the Montreal 23.
The big boys up front for Winnipeg love this game now. They're going to enjoy the next 12 minutes because this is going to see a lot of this. You got a Montreal defense that's been out there all game long, and they're getting tired. They're sucking oxygen, trying to get their wind, and Winnipeg just going to keep pounding it at them. Good idea to keep 33 on the sideline after that hit.
But in 2 plays, LaFrance 50 yards combined, so they'll give it to him a third straight time. And he lunges ahead after first contact from Westerman. Jamal. But they've been playing downhill all night long, haven't they?
They really have. It just, it's tough to defend when you got your running game going. So Jamal Westerman and Jabbar have to, eye Andrew Harris, or in this case Keenan LaFrance, and then when the quarterback takes off and runs, now the secondary is getting involved, and they're wondering if they should come out of their coverage, trying to help tackle, and then they get doing that, and all of a sudden they get beat in behind them. So Rich Stubler has been chasing this game all night.
6 tackles for Jamal Westerman, and here is Strebler, and he takes a heavy hit. The flag comes down as he gets to the 20. That should give Strebler a 100-yard rushing game. Only needed a couple. Helmet off. He comes up talking. See what they give Strebler on the carry. Maybe only a yard.
Foul. Unnecessary roughness. Montreal, number 10. Half the distance to goal. First down.
Did Mwamba duck his head and lead with the crown of his helmet? Because even if it's a run play, can't target the head and lead with the crown. And I think that's what he did. He targeted the head.
Took the helmet right off.
And he hit with the crown of his head. Might be some supplemental discipline there as well.
Injured Alouette. Woody Barron getting attention, so we'll step aside here early, fourth quarter.
Tickets, MontrealAlouette.com.
Back at Percival Molson. Past the 3-minute mark, fourth quarter. Officially now, they've got Strebler at 10 carries, 98 yards. Took one away from him, gave him one on his last carry. And throwing here, slant pattern, and Wolodarski's got another, double dipping as the old roommate connection strikes again. And Jamarcus Hardrick going to carry him off the field.
Good throw. Like to see him get to 100 yards rushing as well, but again, a little sloppy tackle, and that was against Tommy Campbell that time.
Supplemental pick in 2016. Wolodarski adapted a little slowly, but felt this year it was slowing down for him. Doesn't hurt that he has some inside on the quarterback.
Strebler's upset. I mean, he's still upset by that Mwamba hit. Yeah.
One for Dad. Welcome to Montreal, baby.
5 plays, 73 yards, just under 2.5 minutes, and the tempers are flaring here, and a little meeting after the convert.
I was going to say, I thought I saw Gosen, center for Winnipeg, go after Mwamba on that touchdown throw. The old linemen remember, if you take a shot on their quarterback.
15 yards will be applied on the kickoff. Convert's good.
Well, they call Taekwon Glass for a post-play penalty. Gosen actually went after Mwamba the first half about a play as well.
Well, they don't forget, the old linemen, if you take a shot at their quarterback, Mwamba got a penalty for it. Gosen was downfield trying to find Mwamba. Mwamba, I think he might have escaped the hit, but Gosen was cruising. He was down there trying to find him, and you could see that Strebler still upset from the hit. Watch the center, number 61 here. He sees the slant route out there now. Now he sees Mwamba, number 10, right in the middle. He goes to try and hit somebody. Hits Fabian Foote. But they're cruising now. They're trying to get that hit on any defender, any opposite color they can get.
Wolodarski already 3 touchdowns on the year. They have bolstered that Canadian receiving spot with him and Nick Dembski. Medlock from near midfield on the kickoff to Logan. Trying to get his way outside. A Mo-Leggett tracks him down. Flag on the play.
Haven't seen a lot of them, but the Bombers have been in control of this game the whole time. So I'm sure Michael O'Shea said Mo-Leggett can sort of be used sparingly. We're going to see a lot more of them, according to the head coach yesterday. But hey, when you take a look at Drew Willie's game tonight, no help in the first half.
Montreal number 11 during the return. Half the distance to goal. First down.
No help in the first half. Third quarter had a couple of drives, one 5-play drive, but head coach Mike Sherman doesn't have much choice. I mean, it's not really his fault. He's going to need more help up front. But what do? I mean, Jeff Matthews is brand new to the team. Garrett Fugate has been around, but new to the league. Matthew Schultz not ready. There's 19, 4, and
again a pulled abdominal muscle has kept Schultz on the sideline when it looked like he had a shot at being the starter coming out of training camp. Long field, long night, but Tyrell Sutton's going to keep battling. 6-yard carry. Sutton had 44 on one and now is up to 53 yards rushing.
Well, and you know what surprises me, Chris, is that the only newcomer to the O-line really is Sean Jamison. I mean, and he's playing right tackle, so it's an important spot. But
Bamba new, but only returning to a team, but a veteran guy, and Sutton can't hold on with Pressure arriving, and it's a quick 2-and-out. Defensive play by Chandler Fenner.
Xavier Fulton's not going to like his game when he watches the video back. I mean, 4 of the 5 veterans up front for Montreal, and they just could not handle this Winnipeg D line tonight. They win the line of scrimmage. Bombers won the line of scrimmage.
Coming up, Ticats Eskimos. CJ Gable faces former team. Ticats staying in Alberta, and 2 points conceded, so now it's 49-10. Just under 10 minutes to go. And while the offensive stars are putting up numbers, the O-line wants to get into the celebration act.
Coming up in Edmonton, part 2 of our doubleheader, the Eskimos coming off their big victory in Winnipeg last week up against Jeremiah Mazzoli and the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who lost in Calgary in week 1. That's still ahead as we go back to Montreal to CC and Suits.
This one not in doubt, 49-10. Last night, 40-17. The Red Blacks, first Eastern team to win.
Hey, Edmonton Hamilton coming up after this one. I mean, is it beatdown week? Are those teams going to take a lead and run away with it, or what?
Brian Bennett is in. Chris Strebler's night is done. And Keenan LaFrance.
Outstanding game.
The football, and Chip Cox comes up with it. And they're saying the play was dead.
Ball here.
Let's find out. Chip Cox celebrating as he ran off, but they're saying second down Winnipeg.
Well, let's see if he's down by contact.
No. Cox ripped it out of there.
Boy, he's been good at that throughout his career, hasn't he?
25 forced fumbles in his career, over 900 tackles, 6 fumble recovery touchdowns. And I think they're going to win this challenge to get the football back.
Not down by contact. We'll review the play.
Well, the ruling on the play or on the field was no fumble, correct? So now you're looking at enough evidence to overturn it. It looked like it might have been out before the knee went down, but they don't guess at that. So if they can't see one of the knees on all the replay angles.
The Winnipeg ball carrier fumbled the football. It will be Montreal recovery. First down, Montreal.
Well, they did see it clear enough and overturn it. It looked like to me he got it out, but I was wondering about that one knee and whether or not they were going to just
loosen the grip right there.
Yeah, so it's out now and you can see both. So that's why they had that angle. You could see both. The ball was loose for that left knee touch.
There's the vet. And so we will see Jeff Matthews, former Tiger Cat and Toronto Argonaut, the Cornell product. Double clutch, and that one intercepted. Anthony Gator takes it away from Chris Williams. Ball popped loose, and that was picked up and recovered there by Ryder Stone.
Who stripped Anthony Gator from behind.
Anthony Gator shaken up after the interception.
Grabbing that right hamstring. That's not a good sign. Former BC Lion.
Winnipeg. That penalty will be declined. The ball was recovered by Montreal. It will be Montreal the ball at the point of recovery. First down.
Checking out that hamstring. Let's take a look at the play start to finish. This was a throw that Anthony Gator was the closest target. Chris Williams tried to get there. Well, it was Williams that gets behind him? No. Did he go down on his own? Yeah, he looked like Chris Williams might have tried to punch that out from behind, but when you see that replay, he definitely didn't do that. Yeah, he just went down on his own. Ball was out, though, before he touched the ground.
So it was not necessarily a forced fumble.
No, it was a straight turnover. I mean, Gator just let go of the ball as he felt his hamstring go.
Mo Leggett just back. Ian Wild also returning to the lineup after missing in week 1. He has checked into the defense along with Thomas Miles, Derek Jones. A lot of the backups getting reps here in the fourth quarter for Michael O'Shea. But at this point, with the game having been well in hand for, well, since halftime, just don't want to lose anybody else. Dodged one with Andrew Harris, but Anthony Gator needs help off.
I think it was in hand when Winnipeg got off the bus.
Hand off here, and it's Ryder Stone getting some reps out of Dartmouth. So you got Cornell handing it off to Dartmouth, and a long night for Drew Willie. Jeff Matthews passed for 1,458 yards in his rookie season with the Ticats, recruited by Ken Austin and Eric Tillman. He gets hit hard here, and the pass out incomplete, intended for Cunningham with Chandler Fenner defensively.
Jeff Matthews is now sort of experiencing exactly what Drew Willie has gone through tonight. Pressure from Wild down the middle.
Jake Thomas.
Miles had a crack at him, just like a piñata in the middle of that pocket.
Third and 8, offense stays out. Stone with a block to buy some time. Ernest Jackson trying to get to the first down. Let's see where they mark it. Had to get to the 10. I think they're going to mark him short. And it's going to be a turnover on downs. If the chains on the sidelines are positioned accurately, they're going to require a measurement and bring it out from the near side of the field.
Had a good chat with Mike Sherman yesterday, and in that discussion, he's going to find out what his team's made of. I asked him a question about working with Brett Favre in Green Bay, and of course they had such a great thing going there with Favre. I mean, one of the years that Mike Sherman coached Brett Favre, he led the NFL in touchdown passes. Great win-loss record with the Packers. And I asked him,
39.
Yeah, and I asked him, I said, what did you learn from Favre? And he said, I learned that you lead with the work and the perseverance and by example, because Favre would do that. He would practice hurt. He'd never take a practice day off. If you told Brett Favre he couldn't do it, he would prove you wrong every time. Well, Mike Sherman's going to find out how many of those type of guys he has on his football team in the next couple weeks.
Said great players have to be the hardest working players on your team to set an example. Here's LaFrance, and he gets gang tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
I would say Mwamba's one of those guys. He's played that well, or played like that tonight, no matter what the scoreboard has said. He has played hard. I would, take away that one hit on Chris Strebler, but other than that, Mwamba's played hard. There's a few of them out there. Mike Sherman will find out about his team over the next couple of weeks.
Second and 10 for Brian Bennett. And he's going to load it up and go deep. And he's got Simon Eyes. What a catch behind Tommy Campbell. So how about the rookie who had a block punt in the first half and just scorched maybe the best corner in the Canadian Football League?
Man, the first pick go for the Bombers overall, and he's contributing, pitching in on the special teams. He runs by one of the top cover corners in the league in Tommy Campbell. Nothing fancy about it, just got in behind him by a step and a half, and the ball placed right over that outside shoulder. Nice throw.
Brian Bennett's first completion goes for 53 yards and a first down to the Montreal 47. Hand off LaFrance, and Mwamba is there again. Great athletic quarterback.
Well, he's going to get some CFL stats now. He's got plenty of college stats. Pretty impressive college stats when you look back at Southeastern Louisiana and at Oregon.
Little time with the Saskatchewan Roughriders to acclimatize to the Canadian Football League. Second and 9. Time to throw, and delivers another strike. Simon Eyes another catch.
3 years, University of Calgary. Top ranked Canadian pick coming out of the draft this year. And I love it when even the receivers are chipping in on special teams just to earn the respect of their teammates, and then getting a chance to play in mop-up time here and making a few catches. Nice to see. He's got some speed too.
Fresh set of downs for Bennett at the 35. Fakes to LaFrance. That one knocked down. Defensively broken up by Chris Aki, number 4 pick in 2015.
This is one of the reasons that Montreal does have some depth at the Canadian spots. Chris Aki, Wilfred Laurier playing starting linebacker. Now that may change. I mean, Chip Cox can come down back now and rotate into that starting lineup, I'm sure.
Second and 10. Bennett going to use his legs, and he will run for a first down and more down inside the 5. Well, we've seen Streveler do that tonight, and now Brian Bennett runs for another first down at a 32-yard gallop.
Well, it's a good run, but you know, again, I'm gonna repeat that Mike Sherman is going to be watching the video on which guys have shut it down.
Missed tackles there. Wanted to mention Streveler coming close to 100. Last quarterback to do that, Travis Alouettes, back in 2015. The last Bomber to rush as a quarterback for over 100. Buck Pierce in 2010. And here's LaFrance straight ahead, and
well, that's cool.
He gets stuffed.
That's cool because that's exactly who Andrew Harris said Chris Streveler reminds him of. That was Travis Alouettes.
Mentioned Alouettes in the comparison, and we mentioned in a lot of ways like Buck Pierce. And we've hit the 3-minute warning. 49 on the board, and Brian Bennett looking to add to that.
Coming up in Edmonton, the Ticats welcome back Terrence Tolliver, their star receiver, out a full year. He was injured an opening day against the Argos in 2017. Back tonight, part 2 of our doubleheader from Commonwealth. Back to CC and Suits.
And an exasperated Mike Sherman has seen his team give up 571 yards of offense tonight, 408 against BC last week. So approaching 1,000 yards against in the first 2 weeks. LaFrance trying to crash through, and does. It's a touchdown for the Bombers.
Just past the 50 mark. Well, I've been on the wrong end of these games, and it's not much fun.
Calgary put 59 up on Montreal last year. Keenan LaFrance has his first souvenir as a Winnipeg Blue Bomber.
First one I had was against Winnipeg in a Banjo Bowl. I want to say the final was 50-1. I have done everything in my power to try and erase that from my memory.
Medlock adds the convert, capping an 8-play, 100-yard drive.
Interesting matchup, though, coming up right after our game. I thought Jeremiah Mazzoli played very well in the game against the Calgary Stampeders, well enough to win, but for one mistake late in that game, he had a chance to steal one in Calgary against a very good Calgary team again this year. Now, having said that, Bo Levi Mitchell a little off early in the game, the first quarter, missed a couple open receivers.
Mike Riley was not off last week.
No, and he was not. And so they're going to have to keep pace early on and have that young Hamilton secondary settle in. But
Delvin Breaux in the lineup. Good to see him back in the Canadian Football League. And I mentioned C.J. Gable earlier. I think he's going to be amped up.
Speed is life. Speed is life. You know what I'm saying?
There's Logan from his 5-yard line. Been decent on returns. And is tossed out by Ian Wild.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys look at the video and he'll say, hey, I played hard no matter what the score. How about Darrell Walker in his start? Excellent start for Darrell Walker for the Edmonton Eskimos. When you're talking about those fantasy points, I believe he was over 30 in week 1. Sure, his price went up when that happened, but safe bet with Mike Riley and Darrell Walker, and they worked together a couple years back at Darius Bowman in the middle of that group with Darrell Walker.
Alouettes go to Saskatchewan next week. Early movement on that offensive line. I think it was Sean Jamieson that flinched at right tackle.
Saskatchewan's
procedure. Montreal, number 57. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Well, both these teams are going to be a little upset when they go at it next weekend.
And Bombers will be home against Bombers will be in Hamilton next week. We'll have a live mic game there. First and 15. Going to send pressure. Matthews stands in, and a completion there as Eugene Lewis has a catch.
There's some building blocks here in Montreal, but they've got to figure out their quarterback situation. That is the number one concern here, I think, for Montreal fans. They got to find out which quarterback they can win with, and whether it's Matthews, Drew Willie, Schultz when he gets back, they're going to need time and some help.
Matthews throwing hand, glanced off the helmet of a teammate, but able to shake it off and throw a completion to Chris Williams. Going to be third down. Punt team comes on. Look like Matthews says 56-10, leave me out here for one more play, but Beatty will come on. Kevin Fogg awaits, backpedals to his 16, and turns on the Jets. Late flag as he's out beyond the 35. Time for the Nissan Titan Player of the Game, brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
When he went to the first practice with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, he said to us, he said, I looked at all the receivers going in motion at the same time, and it was that waggle, and I went, this is crazy. And he went to work learning the league, and in just his second start, he earns the win. Outstanding game for Chris Streveler, both running and throwing the football.
First time the Bombers have been up over 50 points since July 22nd, 2005. It was against the Montreal Alouettes, but that would have been a fun game to do. 51-46 was the final. Thanks to Steve Daniel at the CFL stats desk. Johnny Russin is crunching all the numbers here for us tonight. And Keenan LaFrance takes the handoff. Third quarterback, and Mitchell Gale. Is that Gale? Excuse me, Brian Bennett's still in.
Bennett's still in there, and I've heard that and seen on Twitter that Matt Nichols threw the ball a little bit. Still saying he was 4 to 6, but
yeah, he's feeling better, and he's on or ahead of schedule.
Feeling a little better, but still's got some work to do to get back.
Bennett throws complete, and there's Daniel Peterman with the catch.
And the good thing for Michael Shea, Chris, is that they can be patient, make sure that Matt Nichols is healthy. If Chris Streveler continues to improve the way he has from week 1 to week 2 and go to week 3, and he keeps climbing that ladder and trends in the right direction like he is, they can be patient with Matt Nichols, make sure he's right. They don't want to rush him with that knee.
Peterman's first catch in the Canadian Football League. Third-round pick out of McMaster, had a tremendous game in BC in the preseason. And now LaFrance, who's come in here in the fourth quarter to replace Andrew Harris, and has chewed up some yardage. Six more for LaFrance, 2nd and 4.
Sure, they'll take another look and examine the knee of Andrew Harris, but he looked like he was okay. He was on the bike riding it and didn't return from that shot to the knee, but looked like he was okay.
With the tackle, dropping LaFrance behind the line of scrimmage, and he's in double digits in tackles in the game. We're thinking that Andrew Harris would be in the room already if there was some
I think he's
serious concern. Might know a little bit more tomorrow. Andrew, 15 carries, 58 yards rushing. And he had 6 catches for 68 and a touchdown. Medlock the boot, and here's Logan. And got tripped up. Good hustle downfield to dump Logan. Zeros on the clock, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers can celebrate a thrashing of the Alouettes here in Montreal. An impressive performance by Chris Streveler. Bombers get their first win of 2018. Alouettes 0-2. Here's Rob.
Thank you, Chris.